honor women like that today is so fitting. One of the great tragedies of the war was the mass slaughter of 8,000 Muslim men and boys at Srebrenica. The mothers of Srebrenica formed an organization and have created a lasting memorial to their husbands and sons who perished, and it was remarkable in many ways. You and I visited with these women last summer. Today, again on International Women's Day, tell your listeners, our listeners, briefly about these women as well.
Oh, this is another remarkable group of women. The Mothers of Srebrenica was established in 1996 by a small group of women whose husbands, fathers, sons, brothers were slaughtered at Srebrenica. Their goal was to discover the fate of what happened to their relatives who disappeared in 1995, and also to create a burial site near Potocari where the massacres occurred, and to erect some kind of a lasting memorial which would, as they say, obligate people to remember and preserve the truth. Everything worked against them. They were working against complicated bureaucracy. They were trying to work with the UN. They never gave up. They finally persevered and finally pressured the international community and the UN High Representative. And in 2001, a site was established. Even now, as human remains are still being found and bodies identified, the women come together and think of ways to honor those who are killed. Every July, these women, mothers, hold a mass funeral for the men whose remains have been identified from the previous year. And last summer, when you and I were there, as you know, there were over 700 men who were buried and honored. As time passed, the mothers expanded their role. They now have formed networks to aid and protect displaced people, support groups for survivors, and really campaign stridently for women's rights.
Thank you for those truly inspiring stories. We'll have a short break in a moment, after which we'll hear from Dragana Vidovic. Dragana was a child survivor of the war. First, we'll hear music from Orchestra Bez Ime again, a group specializing in Balkan music that will be featured in Heaven.